This is the second video in the details of how to knit your Sierpinski triangle. I've cast on. Now I'm going to do 3 rows of just doing double knitting. I will also be showing how to do the slip stitches at the end. As ever, much better showing you how to do these things is Sockmatician. At the moment I've got 12 double stitches and I've got my original knot that just stops things falling apart. I like to leave that on for one more go, just because I'm a coward. I also do something slightly different to the Sockmatician because I keep changing where my yarn is. I've got my first colour here after the knot, which doesn't count. The first colour is a green, so I'm going to be doing green is going to be a knit and black's going to be a purl. Now I'm pointing this way. I always like to have my knit colour on my right and my purl colour on my left. This means every time I do a row I change where the balls are and then I don't get them all twisted up, which I have a tendency to do otherwise. If you're clever about it, you should be able to manage without actually getting things twisted, but me, I just keep getting it wrong. So this is going to be my knit, that one's going to be my purl, and that's not really there, so I'm just going to get the knot over onto my other needle because it's not really there, and that just gets it out of the way. And this is me starting now. So I'm going to do a knot, a knit, not a knit, not a knot, a knit, right, no, not a knit, a knot, oh, bother, right, okay, anyway, let's do a knit on the green, like that, and then I need the green to come in front and I need the black to come in front. I haven't started with the black yet, so let's grab hold of the black and put that in front of both needles. So now I've got both of my colours in front, and then I can do a purl into the black with the black and push that off. Then I'm going to bring both back behind and I'm going to do knit in the green with the green, both in front, purl with the black in the black. And I'm now going to keep doing that all the way over to the end of the row, which is going to be about as exciting as watching a plank warp. But you get this in real time, so you can either stick with me watching in fascinated details as Claire knits and purls her way across, knitting every green with the both behind, purling every black. Hang on, first of all, knit the green, then purling every black with both in front. And when I get to the end, I'll show you what I do at the end. You can fast forward if you want to. I can't fast forward. And if I was capable of actually doing things like only showing bits and fade-ins and things like that with a video, I probably would. But I'm not that clever, so you get it in real time. And you jolly well have to wait, unless you want to watch the excitement of all of this knitting and purling, which actually I find, when I'm trying to learn something, just watching somebody do it again and again can be quite useful. Not sure I'll do 3 whole rows in front of a video camera because I'll run out of things to say. I'm sure at some point I will go wrong as well, and when I do I will show you how to unpick things, which is incredibly important when you're learning to knit, knowing how to go backwards so you can redo it and not have to start from scratch. And guess what? Sockmatician has shown you how to do that as well. I'm almost there. That's a purl. Let's just have a look. How many have I got? Oh, quite a few yet. So this is knitting a green and purling a black. And that's 4 left, so I want to have 2 left before I stop. That's knitting a green, both in front, and purling a black. Now I've got 2 left on my left hand needle, so I put both behind as if I'm about to do the next knit, but I don't knit. The last 2 aren't going to be knitted, they're going to be slipped over, so I just take that stitch and put it onto the right hand stitch instead. Now because I do this in such a way that I always have the right hand is the one that I've been knitting with and the left hand is the one that I've been purling with, I always do the same thing at the end of every line. I take this one and put it over, whoops, behind that needle, over my finger, and then I take this colour that was my pearl colour and I put that to the other side of the right hand needle. So I've now got my, what was the pearl colour in the front, and I've got the knit colour at the back, and then I take that last stitch off without doing anything to it, just pushing it over, and I've now done my first row, and I've ended up, I turn that round, with the green sticking out the front, which is going to be my new pearl colour, and the black sticking out the back, which is going to be my new knit colour. So because I like doing it this way, I am going to put my knit colour to the right, my pearl colour to the left, and that stops them getting twisted. And then going in between the two with my, if you're using a circular needle, you need to be between the two here. But if you're using normal needles, then you don't need to worry about this bit. So that this is free of my loop. I'm now going to start the next row with a knit in the black. So black is now the knit colour, and it's on my right. Then I want the green to be my pearl colour, so I need both in front before I do a pearl. Bring the black in front, the green was already in front. That goes into the green, and then if I put that yarn round, come on, let's see if I can do a pearl. There's my pearl stitch. Then I want both behind for doing the next knit, and all the way along I'm going to be knitting in the black, purling in the green. And if you can see what's happening, you may well want to stop watching this video now, because all I'm going to do is knit and purl and knit and purl until I get to the end. And whoops, and when I do get to the end, I'm going to come across that knot that started me off, and I'm just going to slip that off and ignore it. If you want to hang around with me, hang around. If you want to fast forward to just see what happens when I get to the end of the row, you can do that. Or you can ignore the rest of this video as being just too boring for words and see what happens next. Meanwhile, this is row number 2 after the cast on row, and I'm doing knitting in the black, and I'm doing purling in the green, because black was the first of the colours that I saw in front of me as I started. And I'm always also at this stage doing the colour that I am putting the right hand needle into. So here I'm going into a green stitch, and I do a green stitch. I go into a black stitch and I do a black stitch. What's actually happening is when I do a knit, I'm pulling a black bit to the front, and when I'm doing a green, I'm pushing a green bit to the black back, which is why the front is all black and the back is all green. And that works providing I make sure that when I'm about to do a knit, both of the yarns are behind both needles to do the knit, like that, and both of the yarns are in front of the needles for a purl, and that keeps them totally separate. If you keep doing this, you have a sort of instant bag, because there's no connection between them apart from at the very edges where we do those twists. Coming to an end here, being careful because I've still got that knotty bit on. So there's a knit and there's my purl, and then if I have a look at what's on my left hand needle, there are only 2 stitches left. That was my beginning knot, which doesn't count for anything. So this is my last black, just slips on, and then whoops, can you see it? I've actually got that in front of the needle, not behind. That should have been behind. So I'm going to go back again and just unslip that, make those both be behind, and then slip it on. Otherwise everything's going to go wrong. Then the black goes over and the green comes round, and then I slip the green, and that's the end. That bit there was just the knot that started me off, and if I just pull that, the knot disappears and that's all there, all terribly neat. And you can also see that I'm getting a nice neatish sort of green bit on that side and a nice neatish black bit on this side, so it's looking nice. I'm now even going to do my third row. As before, if you want to watch me do a third row, watch along, and if you think this is just too boring for words, then stop watching. Green over this side, black over that side, because it's the first one here is a green, so I'm going to start by doing a knit on the green, and I prefer my knit side over here. I also want to make sure that I don't start knitting this end, so let's make sure that's well down. And because now we've got rid of everything, and this is just, if you look at this, sticking out here is the black. This is because that's going to be my first pearl, and sticking out on this side is the green, which is my first knit, because I always want to be behind for a knit. So I should be able to actually get that twisted around that hand, that twisted around that hand, and all ready for the go. And here we go. So it's knit the green now, then both in front, and purl the black. I can get the needle to go through the black. There it is. Purl the black. Get off. That's it. Then both behind, knit the green, both in front, purl the black. Yeah, missed. Come on, black, pearl. Good. Both behind, knit the green, both in front, purl the black, both behind, knit the green, both in front, whoops, purl the black, and so on and so forth. Whoops, go away. Ah! Something's happened to my black. I think I've got a knot. Oh no, don't be a knot. Sorry about that. Bit of a yarn problem there. What I was doing, that looks as though I've just, yes I have, I've just done a purl. That's okay. Then I'm doing a knit the green and a purl the black. At some point it's bound to go wrong, and then I will actually show you how to undo things as well. Because every time you're doing this, every single row you're doing knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the time. So there are some things which become impossible to happen. I'll try and talk those through probably in my When Things Go Wrong video, where I'm showing you how to undo it. I'll also give you a few clues of how you can tell things have gone wrong as soon as possible, because if you can undo them when it's only a little bit wrong, it's far less disheartening than if there's a lot wrong. Though sometimes, of course, you just think, stuff it, I'm going to leave that bit that's wrong in there. In fact, the red and green one's got two things wrong in it, which I may point out to you if I'm in a good mood sometime later. Oops. And purl and knit, front, purl, and then there's two left, I think. Yes, two left on the thing there. Both behind, slip that stitch, then that goes over. I pick up the pearl colour and pass that between the needles and pick up that last stitch, slip it over, and that's now got the 3 rows. So if I turn that round, I am now ready to start the exciting bit. We're now going to start the pattern. So that's going to be the next video, is starting the pattern.